Chad Ikes here, Courage Barbell. On today's episode, I want to do a video to attach with an article that'll be posting on my column soon, which is on elitefts.com. Please go check that out. Just go to click on articles, and you can usually find one of my new articles, and then I'll click to that to link to all of my articles. I have hundreds of articles on there. I've been writing there for years and years and years. Lots of great stuff, lots of great information. But this article is about getting a PR in your next bench press training session. And I have just a few stretches that are actually going to help make this happen. But before I get into that, hopefully you've already read the article. If not, that's okay. I'm still going to kind of cover everything here. You need to understand that in powerlifting, it's very important how we move. It's very important the positions that we get in. Technique is a paramount foundation of being a good strength athlete, because we want to put the body in the strongest possible positions. We want to put the joints and muscles in the safest positions, and we want to move as efficiently as possible. Injuries are going to be the worst setback any strength athlete ever deals with. So we want to minimize that as much as possible. Granted, we're lifting tons and tons of weight. Things are going to happen. You're going to have injuries, but we want to minimize that as much as possible. Now, we want to put our body in the strongest possible position. So this means understanding technique and then being able to actually put your body in those positions. If I'm trying to get my shoulder blades as tight together as possible to lock my shoulders in so I have a good platform to push from, well, if my chest and my anterior delts are too tight to allow me to actually get in that full range of motion, locking those shoulders in, then that is actually going to hinder my strength. My lack of flexibility or stiffness, lack of mobility, can make me lift less. Or, if you want to flip that around, my lack of flexibility and mobility is keeping me from pushing the amount of weight that my body is actually capable of pushing. So that there's a lot of strength and weight in flexibility and mobility. And this is something that a lot of athletes completely ignore, especially strength athletes. And we are athletes. Power lifters are athletes. Highland game athletes. Strongmen are athletes. Just because we lift heavy stuff doesn't mean we're not athletes. We need to start thinking of ourselves as athletes and stop just saying, oh, we just lift heavy shit. We're not athletes. We're meatheads. Bullshit. All the top strength athletes I know are intelligent guys. Maybe some struggle outside of the gym, but they're very intelligent and know what they're doing in the gym. They didn't become one of the best in the world by accident. They didn't become one of the best in the world because of drugs. They didn't become one of the best in the world because of genetics. They became one of the best in the world because they are intelligent, they have a good work ethic, they have the patience and the drive to continue to push themselves. Okay, I'm going to try to break this down as simple as possible, so I'm going to go with four, that one. I'm going to go with 4 stretches that I'm going to show you. And I can't guarantee this is going to work for every single person. If you're a flat-backed bencher, your results are not going to be as good as if you're an arch-backed bencher. If you're beat up and injured, this might not help on the first session, but it will help you be stronger over time. The first thing I do want to talk about is, man, if you're trying to hit a PR on your bench, just take a week and don't bench. Not everybody necessarily needs a deload, but take a week and don't bench at all. Just come in and do your supplemental exercises and call it good. And then come in fresh the next week and give these stretches a try. Okay, that's it. I'm going to cut for a second, get in position, show you the first stretch. Okay, guys, first of all, I want to stretch out the chest. Now, keep in mind, I don't think it matters what order you do these stretches in. I'm just doing them because this is the first one standing up, and then we're going to move to the floor, so it just made sense to me. This can be done with a wood dowel. This is just an old broom handle, PVC. You can use a towel, but my favorite apparatus for doing this chest stretch is the Elite Average Band. that it just makes it easier to stretch because you can relax and the band will actually pull it in. Where with the dowel or the PVC or the towel, you're having to stretch, kind of move it in, stretch a little more, move it in, stretch a little more. Any of them work though, and there's lots of different chest stretches. This just happens to be one of my favorite ones to do that I get the best results from. So go ahead and grab it. If you're really tight, you may have to grab all the way out to the end. If you're really flexible, you can probably grab in a little more. And what you're going to do, grab the band straight out in front of you. You're going to go over your head. And once you get to the point where it starts stretching, most people will start stretching here or here. You want to kind of hold it for 30 seconds. I don't even, right about here, I'm starting to feel some stretch. So I'm going to hold this for about 30 seconds. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit for the sake of video. I'm going to go a little further and I'm going to hold it. Now, one of the key things you want to do during this stretch is you want to reach back behind you as far as you can. And you're really trying to focus on just squeezing those scapula together, but letting that anterior stretch out. And I'm going to go a little further and I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to go a little further and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to go a little further and I'm going to hold it. And I want to go through the whole range of motion. Ideally, you want to be able to go all the way down until this band touches your butt, where you probably won't feel too much of a stretch right here. And then you're going to work your way back up, which I always have. I'm a little tight right there today. So I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to come up, hold it, up, hold it, hold it, and go through the whole range of motion right there. So then what I'll do is I'll do this a couple times. I'll run through it a couple times. And each time I'll try to move my grip in a little bit and grab a little bit closer. I'm actually a little tight today. And then go all the way down, hold it, and then back up. And we're just trying to really feel all that get stretched out, that chest. I will take the areas that I'm usually the tightest in and maybe do a couple more, just trying to hit that specific area right in there. That's the first stretch. Moving on to stretch 2. Okay, for stretch 2, I call this the Superman stretch. Basically, you're going to start off in this position. Depending on how tight you are, this actually might be quite a bit of stretch in the low back for some people. Right now, you know, I've been having some issues with my low back, so this actually does feel pretty good because it is a little bit of a stretch. This is also a stretch that the vast majority of people should be doing probably at least every day for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. If you have any low back pain, this is a good stretch to try right off the bat to see if it helps alleviate some of that pain. So we usually stay here for a minute, maybe 2, depending on how, if you get in this position and you don't feel anything at all, you can go ahead and move forward. The next step will be we're going to get in a push-up position, and the goal is to leave the hips on the floor and push up as high as we can. So I'm going to go up to here, and I can kind of feel my hips start to come up, so then I'm going to go down, and I'm going to do 10, just trying to push it a little further each time. I'm going to get a little stretch. Let it stretch a little bit. Then I'm going to come back to my elbows for about 30 seconds. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up and I'm going to go as high as I can. I'm just letting those hips sink into the floor. That's about as high as I can push. So I'm going to move my hands back a little bit. Get a little more stretch. Get my head up. Now when you do this, if you root your hands Root your hands just like we do our feet in the squat and the deadlift. Pull your shoulders down. Squeeze those scapula together. You'll get an even bigger stretch in that low back. And I'll even do a little bit of pumping right there. Come back and lay here for a little bit. You can go through that little series as many times as you feel. Usually if you go through that a couple times, your back's pretty loosened up. You've created a little more flexibility in it for when you bench right after going over these. Okay guys, moving on to number 3. This is basically a yoga or Pilates half barrel. It's just something that I made because I actually like it for stretching the spine, and I'm cheap. So if I can make something, I'll make something. What we're going to do with this one is we're going to sit right here in kind of a push-up position. We're going to lean back on the barrel. I'm going to start with my shoulder blades pretty much on the apex of the barrel. Let my arms out and stretch. Let my head stretch. I'm just going to hold it here for 30 seconds to a minute. All of this, of course, I'm going to speed it up for the fact that you guys probably don't want to watch me stand here and stretch or lay here and stretch. And now what I'm going to do, try to stretch over as much as I can. Now I'm going to try to slowly dropping my hips and trying to just let my spine wrap all the way around this box. Trying to keep my upper body towards the floor, up and towards the floor. I'm going to come back up and I'm going to move down just a little bit. I'm going to let it stretch. I'm going to drop my hips again. Slowly dropping my hips, trying to let my spine curve around this barrel. I'm going to probably do this 3 to 5 times. And again, you'll learn once you start doing this, you'll learn kind of when you hit your point of where you have your full flexibility and where you need to stretch it a little more. And you'll kind of learn over time when you hit that point and if you need to try to get a little more stretching in that day, or if you're feeling good and that's good enough. Each time I come up, I'm going to move in a little different spot just to try and put a little more emphasis on that thoracic area. Now, some of you may be asking, well, how is this any different than the stretch that we just did? The stretch that we just did, the Superman stretch, is going to be more for the low back and getting that low back arch. This is going to hit that thoracic, where a lot of times even people with a good low back arch, they won't have much flexibility in their thoracic, because our thoracic is basically made to flex, not really made to extend very far. So I'm trying to open it up and get more extension out of it. Okay, let's move on to number 4. Okay, number 4. This stretch is, I prefer to do it with a thoracic and a cervical pivot. I learned about these years and years and years ago back in the days when I worked in physical therapy, and I just have remembered them the whole time and like to use them. And this is a thoracic, this is a cervical. Even though these are just some vinyl and foam, they're kind of expensive. So this is the poor man's version. I'm going to show you with this version, but first I'm going to fix my hat because my fat head just popped it off again. So what I'm going to do, this is my favorite one because it's so easy. I'm going to put this thoracic one down here. I'm going to put it right in between my shoulder blades. I'm going to lay down on it right here. Then I'm going to take my cervical and I'm going to fix it right at the base of my cranium, or baby atlas or axis vertebrae right in there, whatever feels good. I'm going to put my arms at 90-90. So basically I'm putting my arms 90 degrees from my body or across, and then I'm getting 90 degrees in my elbows. And once I'm here, it's just most people will probably be right here. It's just a matter of relaxing. Just relax and let your body stretch around these pivots. I don't care if your legs are straight or if they're bent. Just let that chest open up. Let those anterior delts relax. Let all the muscles in the shoulder relax. This is a good chance to practice some belly breathing. Just let everything relax right there. This stretch is more for opening up that whole anterior of the upper body. So it's similar to the chest stretch, but it kind of hits things a little differently, and it's a little easier to relax, a little easier to get the shoulders opened up. And this is another one that I think everybody should do every day for 5 to 10 minutes. Just in our lives, we're bent over way too much. We're hunched over phones, we're sitting at desks, we're hunched over the steering wheel. And this helps get our spine in better alignment. It helps with our posture. You'll find that even when you get up after 5 or 10 minutes, you'll probably find you stand up straighter, and it's easier to stand up straighter, and you'll feel better. You almost feel more energetic. So basically, this stretch is one of the few stretches that I actually enjoy doing. So I'm going to pull this one out. I'm going to pull the thoracic one out. And just for reference, this is a regular bath towel. I got it. It's maybe a foot long, 13 inches. So I folded it in half, rolled it up. This one's a little fat, but they always squish down a little bit. So even with this one, I'm just going to put it down there. Get it straight. Go right here, go back into my 90-90. And just let it all relax. Let gravity do its work. Open that chest up. Stretch out those intercostal muscles in between your ribs. Open that rib cage up. And just feel it. Okay, guys, that's the fourth stretch. So those are 4 easy stretches you can do. Shouldn't take you more than 10-15 minutes to run through those before your bench session. Get everything opened up and warmed up. I mean, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I'm way taller, way better posture right now. And I just feel everything feels open up. It feels good. I'm the first guy to admit stretching sucks. I hate stretching. Throughout my career, it's helped me a ton. It helped me hit some of the best numbers in history. I've had a couple massive crashes with like thousand plus on the squats, walked away from them. I've dumped some big benches, walked away from them. You know, so it's helped me prevent injuries. It's helped me stay away from hypertonicity in my muscles. For the most part, I still get a little bit here and there. And it's helped me get into the better, more efficient, stronger positions so I can actually lift more weight. Like, I know it sucks, but the truly hardcore athletes, the truly hardcore lifters, they do the shit that sucks so they can perform even better when it's all on the line. So give these a try. I do actually want to say, if you have a glute ham raise, you can kind of use the glute ham raise for a half barrel. Of course, you're not going to be laying on the ground, but you can at least get behind that and do the same type of thing, trying to open up that thoracic rib cage and thoracic spine. Anyway, I guarantee you, if you're an arched back bencher and your technique is decent, you're going to do this and you're going to PR on the bench. Probably that session, most likely. It's happened many times for me, because it allows everybody to get in a better position, especially the people that almost never stretch. I mean, if you do this stuff already, it's already helped you. It's not going to help you anymore. But if you're tight and you struggle to get in position, you struggle with your arch, you go through this, you're going to tuck your shoulders tighter, you're going to get them in deeper, it's going to put you in a better, stronger position, you're going to have a better arch, which is going to decrease your range of motion. I mean, it will help. You will have the best day benching you've had in a long time and most likely hit a PR. If not, keep working on it, stick with it. I guarantee that in the long term it's going to help you just as much. Although every now and then it's great to just bam that big PR and it just boosts your training and your mental aspect of stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Please like this channel. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this channel. Please go to Elite FTS. Check out my column. Lots of great stuff on there. Lots of great other authors on there. Like Elite FTS is just a great website with tons of information, tons of great products. Every strength athlete should know that site. All right, guys, I'm going to go through a bench session right now that I'm stretched out, and I will talk to you guys later.